Hi, my name is Luna, but here I'll be going by Fox now. My favorite animal is the fox, and so it's a combination of Fox and Luna. So I created Foxna maybe 2 years ago and titled everything Foxna Wake Up because as I had my spiritual awakening, in my own journey would have downloads and messages, and I figured I want to be able to be a part of that overall conversation and ecosystem, especially from TikTok, and sharing myself, my voice, and the art that I made for it is a little fox sleeping. You had the moon and the water and the lily pads because I love blue and green, and my name Luna means moon, and that's the inspiration for all of that. And it's like, the fox is sleeping, so you want to wake the little baby fox up, but kind of like how I woke up and I want to help other people wake up. And for those that end up finding me, this is a place where I will share information, channel messages, and I'm working towards being a coach. And so people that resonate with me and my message and would like help from me in particular, then that is something that I can't wait to be able to do, to start coaching and help people. And so this first video is just me trying for the first time to actually sit down and make a video. And so I guess the the first thing I could do to start the channel, my YouTube channel and everything, is just as a introduction video. So, more backstory. In high school, I attended a magnet school that I had to test into. And I started first at a Catholic school, and I did well. And this high school was like an opportunity to be in a more higher level academic wise. And it's interesting coming from the background of being like going to Catholic school, going to church and learning about God and the Bible and stuff, and the lessons and morality that we try to, in that community, try to teach children, and that the hopes is that they'll take that on as an adult. But as most people, they start to kind of realize that a lot of stuff with the church and everything, it's not really grounded in like what true spirituality is. And again, you know a little bit, that disconnect of separating and putting something in the middle between you and your access to God, that's like you have to do it through church or whatever, or people become cynical and just leave it for other reasons. And for me it just kind of happened naturally. Like, I'm a teenager, I'm not really thinking and focusing about God and spirituality or anything like that. I'm just being a teenager. And so when I got into the magnet school, that's where I discovered anime and made my friends through that interest. And I started going to anime conventions and doing cosplay, and that was a lot of fun. Growing up, I did think that maybe I would do like staying within that academia of being a therapist or studying psychology. But that school and, in those high achieving like academic spaces, you do get burnt out, very stressed and overwhelmed, which is so ridiculous that we put teenagers and kids like in this high intense environment that's all about, grades and not really teaching them real life stuff. Yeah, I don't know. That's a whole other conversation about the school system. But anyway, at some point, because of anime, I realized that I would like to be a voice actress. Like, that inspired me to want to move away from, that academic environment. And so I went to college to study acting and get a minor in voiceover. And that was really great for my development because in high school I had such severe like social anxiety and was depressed a lot. I did miss a lot of school, even though I still, overall, I did, well. But it felt nice to get away from that. But art school and acting had its own challenges, and I was still working through, the social anxiety. And the depression and stuff was also a lot of things that had to do with my home life and stuff. But so I'm glad that I went to school for acting because of how it helped me, like forced me to perform and be in front of people, and helped a lot with the social anxiety. And then eventually when I started getting my first job, or technically like the second job, when I was a cashier, then that I was very nervous, but those constant social interactions definitely helped a lot. And in acting, I love movies and TV shows, and acting will always be a huge passion of mine. And I had a lot of fun with voiceover, but it was difficult for me because of the anxiety and like the networking and the social aspects that I never really like was able to, like with other people that they're so much more outgoing or much more passionate and are like, this is what I'm doing, like this is what I'm going after, whatever they need to do to network or talk to teachers to figure out like how to audition for stuff, how to get out there, how to get an agent and do all that stuff. And I couldn't do it. And so I just stuck to my cashier job. I was there for like 5 years until eventually after COVID, another store like bought the space that they were renting from. And so then the store had to close down. I lost my job and was able to be on this journey of like, I don't have to go anywhere. I can have more time for myself. And I did different jobs here and there. And that was with my boyfriend, who's now my fiance. But when we were together and living at our apartment in that first year, it was what I needed to really be able to be on the internet, be exposed like on TikTok. And that's how, through those videos, that I had my spiritual awakening. And it's like for all these years, it's been almost 8 to 10 years of me thinking, I haven't abandoned voiceover. I will eventually do that. I just have to work on myself first. And which was true, because it's like, how can someone do all of that if they're still so scared and unsure of themselves, don't really have the support, don't know who to talk to, and it's incredibly overwhelming. So the last couple years having my spiritual awakening and then getting different jobs, and I built myself up to the point where I'm so much more social, I'm so much more comfortable, and now I realize, hey, I don't want to work minimum wage jobs anymore, and I could never really handle working full time. It's way too stressful, and you don't make a lot of money, and you're not really respected, and I never felt like appreciated enough at work. And so then a really great evolution of having that confidence in myself and my job perspectives and like what I wanted to do. Well, I know that as a voice actor, it's like you're an entrepreneur, and not necessarily that you make your own schedule, but it's up to you to decide when you're going to work, like to put out auditions and whatnot. And you have that flexibility and control over your life. So that's what I was looking for. And so I started doing brand ambassador work, like doing food demos, until I eventually got a position doing merchandising and food demos that paid a lot better and is flexible. I schedule myself, I have no oversight. And so as I'm learning about manifestation and like thinking about when I focus on what I want for my life and my job, I manifested that job. And it gave me the opportunity to go out, still interact with people, but also get to be by myself. But it was always with the idea that it's giving me the opportunity and enough time to then also focus on voiceover. And last year I did start audiobooks, and the audiobooks I was doing were like kind of spiritual or like health related. And I had been doing books for the same person over the course of a year until it got to the point where I got a message from ACX, which is the platform where I think it's like the main one, like through Amazon and stuff, where people can post their books and you can audition or people can reach out to you, which is what happened to me. So I thought, yeah, wow, I'm so lucky. Someone the very next day after I got rejected from a bunch of talent agencies, but then I made my account on ACX and then someone reached out to me and now I'm making these audiobooks and have this working relationship, even though you don't make any money because it's only like royalties. So I would only make any money if someone bought the book. So I made like maybe 20 or in and around 20-ish dollars, let's say. But at least I felt like, oh, I'm doing it. Like it's a step in the right direction. Just to get a message a year later from ACX saying that these audiobooks that it basically doesn't exist. Like there's some weird fraud thing, or I don't know exactly who this guy was or what happened to for it to not be legitimate. It was very strange to me, and because they seem like real regular books, like about menopause or vegan diet, or I forgot, like another self-help book type of thing, which is what I've been reading a lot, again, as part of the literature and like learning and stuff that I was interested in as I improved my own life. And it's like, wow, I'm doing audiobooks in that genre. So with the fact that that ended up for a whole year of me putting in this effort to learn and understand how to do audio editing better after not doing it for all these years, and for finally doing voiceover stuff, just for it to not even be real. And also I encountered scams like so many times, and it's like it plays on your heartstrings, right? Like you think like, oh my god, someone's reaching out to me, and it's just nonsense. But you know, you almost kind of fall for it, even though it's kind of obvious it's a scam, because it's preying on, you know, your hopes and dreams. And so then last year I had reconnected with a girl that I actually went to college with. Her name is Sydney Foltz. You can find her as Tigrosa as well on YouTube and Instagram. But we're in the same grade, and she was doing acting, comedy, and voiceover at the same college, and we knew each other. And then it's like, wow, we're from similar, you know, area, both go to the same college, both doing very similar stuff. She has her whole spiritual experience, leaves all of that behind, and actually makes it to Costa Rica and then Peru and starts her whole new life because she was actually a working actress and voice actress and got a gig that paid her enough money in the voiceover in this commercial to be able to move. And yeah, even though she was like successful in certain aspects, that was not her ultimate calling. So now here I am on my journey, and I reconnect with her because she hosts women's retreats and she does a variety of things. But I got to see her again, have this retreat in Peru, connect with two other women, the other facilitators, and it was just a really beautiful part of this journey in actually meeting other spiritual people, especially women, in real life, not just other content creators through the screen. And it made me feel so good, you know, and was a huge part in me being able to reconnect with my femininity and that feminine energy. And so, you know, that was a beautiful experience. And then at the start of this year, I found Inspired Delusions, which is a podcast by Olivia Rose Thomas and Kema Woolday. And then I responded to something on Olivia's. Well, actually, I had seen her first TikTok, or like kind of viral TikTok, commented that her first name, is what I want my future first daughter's middle name to be. Her middle name, Rose, is short for my middle name, which is Rosvita, Rosvita, which is my grandma's name. And then Thomas is her last name, is the first name of my fiance. And I was like, wow, what a crazy synchronicity. Then a little bit later, or like after like watching their stuff for a year last year, then I responded to something on her Instagram, which turned into her reaching out to me and seeing if I was interested in coaching. I had never done coaching before, did their 3-month program. I learned a lot, but I still felt kind of lost and unsure of like, what am I using all this information for? Like, their main clientele are like businesswomen, entrepreneurial women, and who, for the most part, I would say, know what they want and are just being empowered to go further, to understand their inherent worth and abundance, to create just better lives for themselves, and how they have then a positive effect in their community. I felt so strange, like, I'm like, oh, I don't feel like their typical clientele, right? I was like the only or the first voice actress that they had worked with, but yet I didn't know, like, it didn't feel right to actually apply it to voiceover, because that's when I found out about the ACX thing and all that. Then I had been watching a lot of the Spirit Nomad, and her content I had seen few years ago, and they were videos about the alien races and stuff like that, and I thought that was very interesting, and but then hadn't watched her content. And then saw a video and started like binging a lot of her stuff because it was about kind of speaking to like her main audience, which is helping, once again, spiritual entrepreneurs. And then it started to make me realize like everything that she was talking about was a lot of like what I am looking for. And she also, some videos talked about like the things that people tend to showcase on their in their content, or however they coach or whatnot, is typically based upon their own experiences, what they struggled with, and then are able to then help people with through that direct knowledge. I always had this conflict between so many jobs in the past don't exist now, and jobs that exist now didn't exist in the past. So back then I thought the only way to help people or to be interested in psychology, it's like you have to get a degree and you have to get this certification or whatever. And it's like that's not necessary anymore. And also it's like that's through the Western medical lens, which so much of it is absolute horse poopy. And so realizing that, seeing all these women, right, the expanders, we have Sydney, we have the Spirit Nomad, we have Olivia and Kama. And I had for so long had this almost obsession of wanting to improve myself, be healthier mentally and physically, and trying to figure out, like, get my routine down and, like, so that I can feel good about myself and all of that. And then it finally dawned on me, oh my God, I can do that too. And it's like, what's something that you can do all the time that you're good at, that you enjoy, that you would do even if you weren't getting paid? And constantly, I've always been, or throughout my life, I've always been the person that gives really good advice, can sit and have a conversation with someone for a long time, helping them through something. And I've had several people in the last couple of years tell me, oh, you should have a podcast. And then it's like, oh, everyone and their mom has a podcast. But if you want to do it, it's like there's no limits on how many people can be doing this or whatever. It's like it's the limiting beliefs and all of that. Then I realized, okay, let me start doing this. And I invested in myself further by getting a new phone, a laptop for the first time in over 10 years, and then trying to do all of the things that I thought were necessary before I could start, which I know is another trap people fall in, of instead of just starting and doing the thing that would be the most fulfilling or the maybe easiest, they put up all these roadblocks of, well, at least for me, it was, oh, I have to build out a course first. I have to build a website. I have to get all my ducks in the row, because again, this obsession, or this, this thing that I'm working through when it comes to the perfectionism, which I, it's just learned from society and growing up and like through school, that I have to be polished. And I think I finally gotten to a point where I am able to let that go. So yeah, so then I bought the stuff, I tried to do this work, and then got really frustrated and realized like it wasn't working. And then still this juggling between, am I like, how do I do both, and I'm already stressed out for my actual job? Am I even supposed to be a voice actress? Like, what's going on? Why are these things not working out? And now suddenly spiritual business and having issues with that. And so then after my 3-month program and being frustrated with, oh, I still feel like something's missing, or like that I'm not quite there yet, I'm still struggling. I saw Sydney post about her healing program, and then I almost didn't do it, and then I got a sign, and then the next day I was like, okay, I have to message her. I'm going to do this program, which is a 6-month long program. Right now I'm at the halfway mark, and I took a little bit of a break in between sessions with her, and then realized like I just need to do an Akashic Records reading. I don't want to be afraid anymore to get a clear, direct answer. Let's just see how this goes. And I think that after I get this clear message, I will feel good and better of like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Now I have the confidence and the guidance of Spirit and God by my side of like, yes, this is your path, or this is your gift, or whatever. And I think you guys can all figure out what was said because of what I'm doing right now. I was told to believe in myself and that my voice is my gift, pretty much. And then we talked more, and so that I could understand better on different approaches and what the trajectory looks like, more or less. And basically, again, the main point of the message was I need to just start channeling, get the message out. And so even though it felt very awkward for me to do this today, but I realized that I really just need to force myself to sit and record. And I can do a little bit of planning, and there are many things that, it's very easy when I'm talking to someone or to myself and I just talk forever. But it's like something that I'm going to be getting used to when it comes to actually sitting down and talking to the computer. And, trusting that whoever is meant to find this will find this, and continuing that momentum. So I am excited to be able to continue to share this with whoever my audience is, and find the people that need or would like my help, or to work directly with me. And so this is me building the foundation for the rest of my life, my career. And these things that I thought could only be achieved through voice acting are actually kind of the crux of what I really cared about, that is going to be able to be fulfilled through this avenue of content creation, which is, if you're someone that really enjoys watching movies, TVs, cartoons, it's the stories and the experiences of the characters, and the characters' journeys, what they learn through their experiences, that you resonate with. And I thought that the only way to help people to be able to connect and learn and grow from something was to be a voice of one of those characters. And now I don't need to do or be a part of a piece of someone else's art to be able to do that and have that effect. I can do that purely from myself and be the content creator. And so, yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking. Yeah, it's a little scary. But I've got God on my side. And so it's like it was never too late, right? And the fact that I was scared in the past to ask for a clear message on like what I'm like meant to be doing, I only had that final courage to then ask after I had the idea of, I can actually do this. This is what resonates with me, and is something that I want to do and enjoy and I'm good at. And now here we have these platforms that actually allow for people to do this as we enter this age of people waking up, people seeking help and support to break away from the matrix, to really be free and feel worthy and abundant and manifest desires and dreams. And so it feels strange for me right now, but I'm sure at some point it's going to feel very normal. And I'm going to enjoy it more and more and get used to it as I continue to share different insights. And it's going to help the people it's going to help. So by me being authentic and showing up, I hope that I can inspire others to do the same, to really think about what it is that you really love and care about, and don't let anything or anyone else stop you from being able to do that. Really notice and pay attention to your fears, what's holding you back, what kind of limitations you've put on yourself or maybe society or other people have, and realize none of that is important. If you really love something and you know that you enjoy it and you're good at it, or definitely have the ability to get better at it, that's what you should be doing. And it's not like for me that voice acting has disappeared. Like, I've never really been comfortable to do voices.
But I'm feeling called to do them right now, and it feels very, awkward and weird.
And you might think that I'm a little strange.
But it doesn't even matter because I wasn't doing it before. Who cares?
I might as well do it right now. As absolutely ridiculous as it might feel and seem and sound, this is who I am. And so it's like,
instead of being worried about what people are going to think, I might as well just start doing it and allow it to be,
have my personality come through and have fun with it. And if it weirds people out, it weirds people out. Because the people that are going to resonate and care and enjoy my content are going to be here. If anyone thought that that was cringe or strange, you're probably not even spiritual to begin with. It doesn't matter. So it's not like I'm going to sit here and do voices for all of my videos. Good or not, the opinion doesn't really matter. The point is I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it because I'm having fun with it. And I don't need to be a voice actress to be able to enjoy doing funny voices. I don't have to audition for a bunch of stuff and whatever to have a career that I love and enjoy. I don't have to be doing doing that full time to still do it when I feel like it and when I want to have fun and be creative in that way. It'll always be a part of me. You have requests, I'll be more than happy. But the point is that my voice is my gift. So if that's to give someone advice, help someone, if it's to make someone laugh, do something silly and creative, whatever it is, as long as it's coming from me authentically, that's what I'm here to do. And I'm no longer going to hold myself back from being able to do that and hiding myself from the world. And so, yeah. So we'll keep at it, sit here and talk about whatever that might be bothering me, an insight that I have, something that is on my list of topics, and we'll see what happens. And so then as things continue, I will, when I feel inspired or called to, I'll keep working on the course that I want to be able to share with people as a personal guide that they can go through to help themselves, or do the personal one-on-one coaching. And I'll figure that out, like what my approach is, what's going to feel right for me and the community I want to serve. And I also would like to make personal, customized affirmations with people. And so I want to be able to have it set up where you can submit your form, your payment, and then I can then record with my voice a nice, soothing, empowering list of affirmations that you can say to yourself. That is also one of my ideas I would love to do. But yeah, I need to use the bathroom, so I think this is a perfect stopping point. Thank you for listening. Thank you for getting to know me a little bit more. And I'm done. I did my video. I'm proud of myself. So do something that you've been putting off, especially anything that you know that you would love to do and you've been too shy or making excuses as to why not to do it. Go do it. You'll feel so much better. I love you. Have a great day. Goodbye.